close?
I think you want to move it back. So
She wants the whole face in the frame. Brains, welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney. You're at the place, the location. Let me show you. You're right here. You see that? Where the conversations are pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. And this is a special on-the-fly interview with Peyton Roberts. We have our director over here. I can't show them because they're incognito. But we have our director, Nate Roberts, and we have our props person, Sadie Roberts, and they are directing what's going on behind the scenes. But what we're going to do today is we're going to talk to Peyton. Peyton is my love. I'm telling you, we have hung like wet rags.
thanks.
We've been to China. We've been to the Red Cross. We've had conversations. I absolutely love her. And she is an author. Actually, she was my editor for my first book. So I appreciate her so much. And so she got the writing bug. And this is your second book.
Yeah.
This is her second book. We're going to talk to her a little bit about that and see it. Let's see the book, Peyton.
Here's the book.
Put it up kind of close. Look at that. My Dearest Bea. What's the premise of My Dearest Bea?
So, My Dearest Bea is the love letters that my grandfather wrote to my grandmother when he was deployed on the USS Midway.
Wow.
7 weeks after they got married. And the letters, no one in the family knew about these letters until after he had passed away. And so we kind of discovered these letters and discovered things about my grandparents that we would not have known if he hadn't been in the Navy and written her.
That's beautiful. I keep the letters that I have from my husband when he was in the Navy, but we also used to send each other cassette tapes so we could hear each other's voice. Now you can Zoom and all that other kind of stuff. Social media, you're doing too much, Brains. So what were some of the things that really captivated you about Bea and Shupaw's love story?
Yeah, so my grandfather, Bill Holston, we called him Shupaw, and he had a very unique Navy experience. He was a trumpet player in the Navy band. So he was on the USS Midway from about 1949 to 52, and he was, you know, just a young music guy, fell madly in love with my grandmother, Bea, she immigrated to the United States from Europe in 1941 during World War II. So fell madly in love with her in Washington, D.C. They get married, they move to Norfolk, and then 7 weeks later is when these letters start. And my grandfather is just madly in love with her. He is homesick, he is lovesick, he can't wait to get home and just start his life with her. And so for us as grieving grandchildren, it was amazing to discover these letters on so many levels. First, to get to meet our own grandparents as love-struck newlyweds, which you don't often get to see them in that season. And then also to kind of get a glimpse of what it was like to be in a band on an aircraft carrier.
Wow, during World War II.
Well, this wasn't, he didn't serve during World War II. He wasn't old enough.
Oh, okay.
So this was actually during the Korean War, but not in the Korean theater.
So he's getting his Mac on, Brains. He was sending letters. But you know, that's what I find in today's world where people are online dating. I find that it's pretty captivating because when you read the written word, your imagination can go to so many places. The voice inflection, you're imagining the scene and the taste and the smells and the sounds, and you're mentally engaging with people. So I'm telling you, you better watch that. You can get mine real easy. So you got to be careful of that online. I had one of my guests, she got embezzled out of $300,000. That's what I told her. I said, what was that? She said, it's the way he wrote to me.
Yikes.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with that. But this love story has taken it to a whole different level, because when you started to write the book and you started to figure out a little bit more about your grandmother and grandfather, what did that make you feel in your own life married to a military man?
Yeah, so I'm a Navy spouse. We're at 19 years. Husband's about to retire next year, and when I first read these letters, it was the first time I realized that my grandmother was married to my grandfather while he was active duty Navy. And so I realized from these letters in hindsight that she was also a Navy spouse. And so kind of over the last 10 years since the letters were discovered, got to read the letters with that lens, learn. It was so interesting to see how her experience as a Navy spouse in 1951, 52 was so similar to what I've gone through,
Right.
even in the post 9/11 years, and everything from like she had the car maintenance that she had to deal with, and like the upkeep of the house, and she was living alone for the first time in a new duty station. And
Well, another parallel that just rang true to me is that your grandfather is a trumpet player.
yeah,
And her mother is married to a trumpet player. So there's something about that.
close. He's actually, my dad's a trombone player.
Trombone,
but yes, definitely a lot of
okay.
music in the family.
Absolutely. And
yeah,
her
and
mother
that's
plays
the
it. She
trumpet
serenades
on
me
the cover,
sometime.
So
It's so sweet. I was cooking one day and she says, I've got a surprise for you. That's what. And she played for me and it was just so beautiful. She's so talented.
yes, she is.
So now you have the generation of our director
assistants
and
here.
our props person here. What are you telling them about military life and honor and dignity and respect and love? Because that's what it's made of. It's compassion. It's sacrifice, brains.
For sure. And so our kids are growing up as active duty Navy kids, military kids, and they say that, military kids are the only non-volunteer service members in the military because they are born into this lifestyle. I married someone, knew he was going to be doing this, didn't know what we were getting into, but I'm along for the ride. They just appeared in our lives, and so they've grown up seeing both the highs of that, but also the lows of that, with Dad leaving a bunch, and they've also met some incredible people, which really is the best part of the whole Navy experience for us, has been the people that we've met at all the different duty stations.
Absolutely. You build alliances. Being a military spouse is no joke, brains. I'm a retired one. Again, you have to take care of all the responsibilities, and a lot of times you're a single parent and you get lonely. What would you say to a young military wife that is just trying to find her way?
Man, it's hard. I would say find your people. Your people are what's going to get you through the hard times. I would say do something for yourself, whether it's a job that you enjoy or a hobby
Absolutely.
that gives you life. Do something that helps you retain your own identity, especially if you're parenting alongside. Do something that helps you retain your own identity and fills you up, either creatively or in community service, giving back to the community. That's actually what really kept me writing along the way, was just craving a creative outlet, and that's what got me writing fiction. I didn't feel like I could tell my story, but I wanted to have a voice, and so I started writing fiction. That's how I wrote my novel, Beneath the Seams, and it was really life-giving to have that creative outlet. And
Exactly. And don't listen to the naysayers and the gossipers in Navy housing. That's what you don't do, okay? You just keep chugging along, keep yourself busy, exercise is good for the mind, eat healthy, volunteer at your kids' school, take on a career, take an online course, but keep yourself busy. That's very, very important, because if you can get distracted, let me tell you, you could just go haywire. And just think what your spouse is going through. They miss their family too. They miss their family too. So let's talk about some fun stuff. She's adventurous, her and our director. And what job did I give you?
props.
Props.
Their ages
I'm
8.
giving her props. Yeah.
Basically 8 and 11.
8 and 11. And let me tell you, they are sharp. They are smart. So what are you going to do this summer with them?
This summer we're back visiting an old duty station, San Diego. We're hanging out with dear friends that we've known from the very first days of our Navy journey, and just enjoying the sunshine out here and having some good family time, and just happy to be here.
That's so good. Take your kids on vacation, brains. Somewhere. Somewhere. If it's to the next county. But it makes you such a well-rounded person when you see other people's life experience, when you see the benefit of travel, when you see the disadvantage. I know we took our daughter to Jamaica, and she was having problems reading. And she saw those little girls walk for 3 and 4 miles. Their socks were still pristine on dirt roads, and their shoes, because they were proud of what they were doing. She came back and it turned her life around. She got so excited and learned to appreciate. It's with life. It's with culture. It's knowing that you're not always the only sharp knife in the drawer. There are other people there. Okay? So, let's ask you some fun questions. I don't know if I've asked you these questions, okay? If you, I have asked her some of these questions because when I interviewed her once before. All right, but if you were an appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be?
Oh gosh, the coffee maker. Gotta energize people and start your day off right.
Okay.
Yeah, coffee maker.
Not me. I'm the refrigerator. I just want to chill.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be?
I love tulips. I saw you had some pretty tulips out there. I just think they look so pristine, and they come in all different colors, and they're just beautiful to look at.
And men like tulips, so that you know that's a man thing. What would you say to a 25-year-old Peyton Roberts?
Oh, I loved being in my 20s. And actually, being back in San Diego always takes me back because I lived here from age 22 to 27. Just,
wow,
man, just awesome.
And I mean,
ages.
she lived PHAT. Okay, fat. Oh yes, she had a good life. She had fun.
It was fun. I would say, looking back, man, that's when I really found some friends that became lifelong friends. And April's one of them, and we're still in touch to this day. And I found it was harder to make those really good, solid friendships in later years. I have been fortunate to make some good friends in later years, but I go back to those friendships that I had in my 20s when we were all a lot of us were newly married to these, in the military community, but we were working our first jobs and pretty fancy free and just
and the thing about it too is that Peyton was one of the first people I think that turned me on to Facebook. I was like, what do you remember?
That's a good thing.
No, because you started in college.
We did, yeah. My college.
And she,
yeah.
Excuse me, Bray, she had a gazillion friends there, and I was like, what? This lady here makes friends. So when she says, I have a few friends, she's probably got like 400.
Well, our family grew up moving around, and so I kind of was forced to make new friends everywhere where we went, and that just I guess has become a habit. But I think in addition to making solid friendships in your 20s, travel as much as you can afford to travel. It just gets harder and more expensive.
It does. It does.
The older
Absolutely.
you get.
Absolutely.
Want more comfort.
If you were a car, what kind of car would you be?
I'm gonna go with the old SUV.
SUV?
Sport utility vehicle. We're getting around. We're doing adventures. We're also bringing the groceries home.
I want to be a VW van.
Nice.
With a hookah pipe and flowers painted all on it. Jimi Hendrix. I'm telling you, life is good. Life is good. So, what would you tell an inspiring writer? Because there's a lot of people that know that they have a book inside of them.
Yeah.
And not only are you a author, but you're a great editor, and you are a college professor? Yeah, for teaching English. So she knows her stuff. She dots her I's and crosses her T's. What would you tell someone that's wanting to start to write a book?
I would say the best thing you can do to start writing a book is just start writing anything. When I started working on my novel, every day I would write 500 words of just a brain dump onto a Word document, and that got me going. It got the juices flowing, and then I could transition over to actually writing the story. And a phrase that I learned along the way in some of these writing classes is that private writing unlocks public writing. And so if you're not writing for yourself, you're not going to be producing the words that will be worthy of other people reading. So yeah, that's probably my best tip, is that private writing unlocks public writing. So just start writing, and don't write with the expectation for anyone to see it. Write for the pure joy of it, and then eventually that book will get more solidified in your mind, and then you'll have direction.
Well, they may be solidified in your mind, but you are cemented in my heart. Brains, she's going to tell you how to get a copy of the book. We're looking forward to it. Follow her, check her out. Go check out her first book, Beneath the Seams. That one is very interesting. You will really appreciate that a lot. I don't want to spoil it for you, but we did an interview. I will rewind it, put it out there. I love you deeply and completely.
Thank you, April.
You're my heart. And the director has done a good job. Are we ready to cut, sir? Yes, and props, are we good?
Yes.
Yes, they are ready. They gave us a thumb up.
Can I tell them where to get a copy? Yeah. So Beneath the Seams can be ordered through any bookstore. It's on Amazon and on Kindle. And actually, this just in, it's going to be for sale at the USS Midway gift shop
What?
here soon.
Oh, that's
So,
huge.
If you're
That's huge.
visiting in town San Diego, visiting the USS Midway, you can pick up a copy at the USS Midway Jet Shop.
All right, and we're gonna put all of our contact information in the back. Please, Brains, do something. Write somebody a love letter.
Definitely.
On the edge. Thanks, Peyton.
Thank you, April.
All
It's
right.
great to be here.
Bye, Brains.